So yes, my name is Karakochuk, and I am with the Cambodia project. I'm very honored to be here, and first and foremost, I'd like to thank IDRC for inviting me here to tell my story about my journey, which started with the CIFSRF project in Cambodia. And I'll speak to my learnings and outcomes on being involved in the project and how it has impacted my life and career. So about 6 years ago, I started my PhD at the University of British Columbia with Dr. Tim Green. I joined the CIFSRF project team that we called Fish on Farms in Cambodia. And I know many of you have heard about it over the last 2 days. My specific aim on the project was to evaluate if homestead food production with an aquaculture component could improve nutrition status and anemia among women and children. And this study was conducted in Prey Veng, which was a province in the southeastern part of Cambodia. It was led by Dr. Tim Green, shown there on the left, from the University of British Columbia, and Zaman Talukter from Helen Keller International, and then our partners with Helen Keller International in Cambodia as well. So my story is really one of incidental findings, and I promise this is my only research results slide, but I wanted to highlight the unexpected findings we had in our baseline survey for the CIFSRF project. So my first task was to analyze the baseline survey of 420 non-pregnant women in Prey Veng. And we found among women, 30% were anemic. Only 2% had iron deficiency based on ferritin, which is the indicator of depleted iron stores. But 19% had iron deficiency based on soluble transferrin receptor, or STFR, another indicator of iron stores. So there was a huge discrepancy between these two biomarkers of iron deficiency prevalence. And lastly, on the right column, you'll see that 54% of women had some type of a genetic hemoglobin disorder, namely thalassemia or hemoglobin E type, and these are actually known to also cause anemia. So we were quite boggled at the start of the study, and we're left with the question, were women indeed iron deficient in Cambodia? And this was important, as if there was no iron deficiency in the population, we wouldn't expect our intervention, the homestead food production with the aquaculture component, to improve anemia status, especially if the majority of anemia was due to these genetic disorders. So at this stage, we decided to initiate a new trial to answer the question, and this was a supplementation trial. So this was a practical way to determine if women were indeed iron deficient by measuring the hemoglobin response to iron supplementation. And IDRC were the first ones to fund this research. I was awarded an IDRC doctoral award and started on the journey to seek out additional funds and to implement this new trial with our CIFSRF partner, HKI, or Helen Keller International. We were later successful in finding more funding from the Micronutrient Initiative, Site and Life, and CIHR, and were able to initiate this trial in Cambodia. And our primary objective was to determine the effect of 12 weeks of iron with or without other multiple micronutrients as compared to placebo on hemoglobin concentrations among anemic women in Cambodia. From this work, I've reaped many benefits. I've had the excellent opportunity to work with Helen Keller International in Cambodia and gain great field experience, numerous new collaborations, and was able to publish a total of 8 papers from this work. And I won't go into details on all the findings of the research, but just to give you a few examples, in this one paper we found that hemoglobin disorders were a bigger predictor of anemia in this population as compared to iron deficiency. We also looked at several different methods of hemoglobin measurement as a side project and published several papers on this. And based on this work, I was invited last year to participate in the World Health Organization consultation on hemoglobin measurement in Geneva, which was another incredible opportunity that was really afforded by my involvement with the CIFSRF project in Cambodia. And lastly, our main trial publication that was published in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that showed that approximately 1/3 of the anemia burden in our study population was due to iron deficiency. And this led to the reassessment of the policy in Cambodia for weekly iron and folic acid supplementation in women. So I was asked how CIFSRF has impacted my career in learning. Well, CIFSRF really provided the platform in which all of this research was able to happen. My IDRC doctoral award was really the seed funding for all of this funding to be able to pursue my research idea, and led to these 8 publications and some excellent experience in the field. There's no doubt that the successes in this research was a driving force in me getting my first position as assistant professor at University of British Columbia in 2017. And so we'll quickly just introduce my research team. So I now have a research lab that focuses on continued research in anemia, iron deficiency, and micronutrient supplementation. I have 2 postdoctoral fellows and 6 grad students with research spanning Cambodia, Malaysia, Botswana, and Canada. And actually, I'm really excited to share one of my students that I co-supervise, third from the left in the red dress, Tebi Lepile, was also recently awarded an IDRC doctoral award for her work in Botswana on food insecurity and gender. And lastly, on the right, Jordy is one of the newest members of the team who joined just last month in September, and she'll be leading the next stages of our Cambodia research. In July, I recently was awarded a CIHR project grant for a new trial in Cambodia, continuing our work on iron supplementation and looking at the risks and benefits in the population. I'm certainly not the only one to have benefited from the involvement in the CIFSRF project. Some of you may know Kyly Whitfield, who was a PhD student of Tim Green's, who was also in Cambodia at the same time as I. Her research was focused on another spin-off from the CIFSRF research platform. She fortified fish sauce with thiamine with the aim to decrease thiamine deficiency in both women and children in Cambodia. She has also gone on to obtain a position as an assistant professor at Mount St. Vincent University in Halifax, and was recently awarded a new grant from Bill and Melinda Gates, as well as the New York Academy of Sciences, to continue her work in Cambodia on a new trial investigating thiamine-fortified salt. And there were many other master's and undergraduate students who were able to come to work in Cambodia on the CIFSRF project as part of their theses and practicums. Vashti Verbowski was another example. She looked at the effect of homestead food production and aquaculture on dietary intakes of women and children. So clearly the research or the reach of the CIFSRF project went well beyond the rural farmers of Cambodia and contributed to the learning and careers of the many students involved in the work at UBC. And with that, I just wanted to really thank IDRC for their continued support, as well as the other funders, Sight and Life and Nutrition International and CIHR, who afforded me all of these opportunities, as well as the team in Cambodia that really made this work happen on the ground. And it's really without the leadership and support of Supanavri Prak from the Ministry of Health, Hu Kron, Nyat Rem, and the whole team that really made this happen, wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. And then lastly, also to thank Tim Green, my PhD supervisor, who I am still lucky to be able to work with and collaborate in my research today. So with that, thank you very much.